Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to examine Turnitin's AI detector, a tool widely adopted by universities. I'll describe how this technology operates, the cost of Turnitin for educational institutions, and some of the criticisms the AI detector faces. Additionally, I will discuss Turnitin's responses to these criticisms and evaluate the broader implications of the AI detector for both students and educators. This comprehensive analysis aims to shed light on a tool that is often accepted without question in academic circles. Whether you're a student, educator, or simply interested in the evolving landscape of AI in education, I invite you to join me as we uncover the full story behind Turnitin's AI detector. Tag here. Turnitin is used in 98% of universities in the UK. Originally, customers with licenses for Turnitin Feedback Studio, TFS with Originality, Turnitin Originality, Turnitin Similarity, SimCheck, Originality Check, and Originality Check Plus could also access Turnitin's AI writing detection capability, commonly referred to as the AI detector. Since January 2024, only customers that license Originality with their other products can access the AI detector. The AI detector is a feature that was added to Turnitin on the 4th of April 2023 to help educators identify text that might have been written by a generative AI tool. This was introduced in response to the launch of ChatGPT in November 2022. Turnitin argue for its necessity using this study, where linguistics experts could only distinguish between AI and human writing 38.9% of the time. What chance do the rest of us have? Turnitin further illustrate the detrimental impact that AI can have on academic writing, claiming that just 7 weeks after the launch of Turnitin's AI writing detection tool, Turnitin assessed 38.5 million submissions for AI writing. 9.6% of papers reported over 20% of AI writing, and 3.5% reported between 80 and 100% of AI writing. At the time of recording, Turnitin claim that over 130 plus million papers have been processed for AI detection since the detector was launched. Turnitin acknowledge that their detection model may not always be accurate, recognizing that it may misidentify both human and AI-generated text. It is for this reason they recommend to users that it should not be used as the sole basis for disciplinary actions against a student. This video will tell you everything you need to know about the Turnitin AI detector and consider whether it's still relevant in a world where students are constantly being advertised tools on social media that claim to bypass it. First things first, Turnitin is a contentious organization around which there is much debate. It was founded in 1998, originally as a similarity detector service to flag issues with plagiarized writing. Since its founding, there have been calls for students and institutions to resist Turnitin, including this famous article here, which argues that Turnitin profits by using student work to build its database without students' explicit consent. The software's terms of service require students to grant Turnitin a perpetual license to their work, effectively relinquishing control over their intellectual property. Universities and schools often adopt Turnitin without scrutinizing its impact on students' rights and privacy. This adoption contradicts the critical thinking values that educational institutions claim to uphold. The internet and digital tools increasingly invade privacy, with companies harvesting data for profit. Turnitin's practices exemplify how educational technologies can exploit personal data. Turnitin shifts the teacher-student dynamic, positioning students as potential plagiarizers rather than learners. This shift undermines the pedagogical process and the role of teachers in fostering academic integrity through education rather than surveillance. In sum, the article highlights ethical concerns about the use of Turnitin and similar tools, urging educators to seek alternatives that do not compromise students' rights. A draft letter is provided for students and faculty to express their concerns to administrators advocating for the discontinuation of Turnitin. Some compelling arguments here. What about the discontinuation of the Turnitin AI detector? We'll get to that shortly. How much does Turnitin cost? Unknown. There is some discourse online that it works out at about $2 to $3 per student. In the UK, there is less discussion online about the cost of Turnitin to universities. Thankfully, a Freedom of Information request made to the University of Sheffield in 2023 provided some very helpful information. In response to this request, University of Sheffield report paying £99,746 for a billing period of 2 years from August 2021 to the end of July 2023. University of Sheffield have around 30,000 students, which makes it about £1.70 per student per year, meaning that the $2 to $3 per student per year guess is fairly accurate. Some other gate-kept information that is available only to the Turnitin administrator for an institution is the aggregate of all AI scores for that institution. How does the Turnitin AI detector work? First, it can only analyze text in files that meet certain criteria. The AI detector only works for English text. Turnitin have plans for AI detectors in other languages, though no announcements for these have been made at the time of recording. To be analyzed by the AI detector, files cannot be larger than 100 megabytes. The files must have at least 300 words of text written in prose. Turnitin say the model does not reliably detect AI-generated text in the form of non-prose, such as poetry, scripts, or code, nor does it detect short-form, unconventional writing such as bullet points, tables, or annotated bibliographies. If you've ever used GenAI for anything, you'll understand the magnitude of this limitation, as GenAI loves knocking off bulleted or numbered lists in response to almost any instruction. The file must not contain more than 15,000 words, which means the AI detector is useless for any postgraduate dissertation and many undergraduate dissertations. According to Turnitin, the AI detector can only read the following file types: docx, PDF, txt, and RTF. Now, you might be thinking, could you upload an assignment as a .doc file and it wouldn't be checked? Too easy. The AI detector can provide a report on .doc files, despite this format not being included on the acceptable format list. Okay, but how does the AI detector really work? Turnitin say they make this determination complex and don't really provide much in the way of meaningful information in their FAQ, but they do tell us a little. Apparently, when an assignment is first uploaded to Turnitin that meets the criteria for the AI detector, it is broken up into chunks of text that are roughly a few hundred words, about 5 to 10 sentences. Exactly how many words or sentences? Does breaking up the text into segments occur randomly or from the first word in the submission? Are titles included? Unknown, unknown, unknown. There are scant details about how this AI detector works. The segments of text that the AI detector extracts are then overlapped with each other to capture each sentence in context. This explanation is a little vague, but Turnitin provide this illustration to help us understand it, or not. Turnitin's own AI detection model then gives each of the extracted sentences a score between 0 and 1. Turnitin say their model is built around a deep learning architecture called the transformer model, which makes accurate next word predictions by modeling language. As a result, Turnitin is able to leverage the model to identify subtle statistical patterns of AI-generated writing. Turnitin say that GenAI tools tend to generate the next word in a sequence of words in a consistent and highly probable fashion. That's a fact. Human writing, they say, on the other hand, tends to be inconsistent and idiosyncratic, resulting in a low probability of picking the next word the human will use in the sequence. That one is debatable. How often have you been composing a text on your phone? For example, meet me at it and the predictive function has been exactly right or miles off. Turnitin say our classifiers are trained to detect these differences in word probability and are adept to the particular word probability sequences of human writers. A score of 0 is given to text that appears to be human written, and a score of 1 to text that appears AI generated. The AI writing indicator in Turnitin only flags text as being AI generated if it is 98% certain that it was written by an AI. I'd like a little more information about how this model was trained and developed, but that's not available. Turnitin saying the model was trained on a representative sample of data spread over a period of time that includes both AI generated and authentic academic writing across geographies and subject areas. The period of time, geographies, subject areas, number of training documents, etc. are not specified anywhere. Turnitin continue. While creating our sample dataset, we also took into account statistically underrepresented groups like second language learners, English users from non-English speaking countries, students at colleges and universities with diverse enrollments, and less common subject areas such as anthropology, geology, sociology, and others, to minimize bias when training our model. That's an interesting claim, as there is some evidence that the AI detector will flag the writing of non-native English speakers on the basis of the average scores for all segments of text that were analyzed. Turnitin generates an overall prediction for the document. Again, how this calculation is made is opaque. In practice, I guess it looks a little like this. Blocks of text between 5 to 10 sentences in length are extracted by the Turnitin AI detector with some overlap between them. Sentences in those blocks are assigned a value between 0 and 1 depending on their likelihood of being written by Gen AI. The average scores for each of the blocks of text are then combined to calculate an overall AI score for the readable parts of the document. In this example, we're pretending that every block of text represents 25% of the document, giving us a total of 59% for our AI score. Once a document is uploaded, after a short period of processing, usually only a few seconds in duration, the mysterious black box of the AI detector provides one of the following indicators. A blue box with a percentage between 0 and 100. This means the AI detector has run successfully, and the number is the percentage that the AI detector has determined was written by Gen AI. It should be noted here that the percentage is not the total percentage of the submission text, but the total of long-form prose text that could be checked by the detector. For instance, tables and bulleted lists, despite being AI generated, may not be included. Clicking this indicator launches what is known as the similarity report, which provides more detail and highlights flagged text in blue. The similarity report can be downloaded as a PDF. The second potential indicator is a gray box with no percentage displayed. This means the AI detector could not process the submission. This could be due to one or a combination of the following reasons. It does not meet the file size requirements and is more than 100 megabytes, doesn't have at least 300 words in long-form prose, exceeds 15,000 words, is not in English, or has not been uploaded in an accepted file type. The third potential indicator is a red box that reads error. This means Turnitin is encountering some issue and is unable to process the submission. If users see this indicator and the submission adheres to all the criteria required for the file to be processed, they are advised to contact support. Please note, only instructors and administrators are able to see the indicators. There are no plans to make them accessible to students either. Why? I'll ask Turnitin that when I secure an interview with them. Let's review Turnitin's accuracy. Turnitin argue for the acceptability of the accuracy of their AI detector, citing this article, which finds that it is one of the 3 AI text detectors that has very high accuracy when tested with 42 undergraduate essays generated by ChatGPT 3.5, 42 generated by ChatGPT 4, and 42 written by students in a first-year composition course without the use of AI. Each detector's performance was assessed with regard to its overall accuracy, its accuracy with each type of document, its decisiveness, or the relative number of uncertain responses, the number of false positives, that's human-generated papers designated as AI by the detector, and the number of false negatives, that's AI-generated papers designated as human. Turnitin only seemed to care about false positives, where human written material is flagged as AI generated. They say that they are striving to keep their false positive rate under 1% for documents with over 20% of AI writing. Their aim is to only flag a human written document as AI written for 1 out of every 100 fully human written documents. They say that the downside of maintaining this low rate of 1% for false positives is that there is a chance they might miss 15% of AI written text in a document. They continue, "We're comfortable with that since we do not want to incorrectly highlight human written text as AI written. For example, if we identify that 50% of a document is likely written by an AI tool, it could contain as much as 65% AI writing." When I first read this line, I thought that it meant the maximum AI score for a submission could be 85%. I did some testing by creating a very obviously Gen AI written piece of work and running it through the AI detector. While it originally scored 80%, after deleting the text that the AI detector didn't flag and uploading it again, I got my very first 100% AI detector score. For submissions with lower scores, Turnitin note, we learned that our AI writing detection scores under 20% have a higher incidence of false positives. This is inconsistent behavior, and we will continue to test to understand the root cause. In order to reduce the likelihood of misinterpretation, we have updated the AI indicator button in the similarity report to contain an asterisk for percentages less than 20% to call attention to the fact that the score is less reliable. They warn that with shorter documents, where there are only a few hundred words, the prediction will be mostly all or nothing because we're predicting on a single segment without the opportunity to overlap. This means that some text that is a mix of AI generated and original content could be flagged as entirely AI generated. Turnitin don't explicitly mention false negatives, that's not flagging AI written text, in their information about the AI detector, beyond saying that they're more comfortable with false negatives than they are with erroneous false positives. There are numerous criticisms of the Turnitin AI detector. Despite Turnitin initially claiming a 1% false positive rate for its AI detection tool, this was revised to 4% later in 2023 and is not updated across the website at present. Even a 1% error rate is significant. In large universities, this could mean hundreds of students being wrongly accused of academic dishonesty. Even though the AI score is not the only data that informs a judgment of academic misconduct, this lack of accuracy undermines the credibility of the Turnitin AI detector and could unjustly impact students' academic records. From my experience of testing the tool with a variety of sample text, the AI detector probably gives you 40 to 50% false negatives, depending on the characteristics of the writing. Numerous prestigious institutions are rejecting the AI detector. These include Vanderbilt, Michigan State, the University of Texas at Austin, the University of Limerick in Ireland, and several UK universities, such as Cambridge, Durham, Dundee, or Oxford Brookes, who have already turned off or opted out of AI detection software. This widespread rejection highlights a growing consensus on the inadequacy and potential harm of these tools. Research has shown that some AI detection tools are biased against non-native English writers. These tools often misclassify non-native writing as AI generated, penalizing students unfairly based on their linguistic background. Plus, many international students use tools like Grammarly or similar to refine their spelling or grammar, and these are flagged by the tool. This bias not only affects student outcomes, but also raises ethical concerns about the equity and inclusivity in education. The rapid development of tools designed to bypass AI detectors, such as those advertised to students on TikTok, indicates that the arms race between detection software and evasion techniques is unwinnable. Students are increasingly able to mask their use of AI, rendering detection efforts ineffective and fostering a culture of distrust and constant surveillance. AI tools are becoming ubiquitous in the workplace, now becoming integrated into everyday products like Google Drive and Microsoft Office. Banning or penalizing their use in an academic setting creates a disconnect between educational practices and real-world applications. Embracing AI in education can better prepare students to be effective users of these tools in a professional environment where they are becoming standard. Another reason the AI detector is criticized is its negative impact on the student experience. Students do not like the AI detector, and there are petitions at Bedford and Lancaster. From my own experience, students do not like the AI detector and want it to be disabled. Turnitin are clearly aware of the criticisms against their AI detector. On their website, they ask, does the Turnitin model take into account that AI writing detection technology might be biased against particular subject areas or second language writers? Yes, it does. One of the guiding principles of our company and of our AI team has been to minimize the risk of harm to students, especially those disadvantaged or disenfranchised by the history and structure of our society. Hence, while creating our sample dataset, we took into account statistically underrepresented groups like second language learners, English users from non-English speaking countries, students at colleges and universities with diverse enrollments, and less common subject areas such as anthropology, geology, sociology, and others. Elsewhere on their website, they say, in response to feedback from customers and papers claiming that AI writing detection tools are biased against writers whose first language is not English, Turnitin expanded its false positive evaluation to include writing samples of English language learners and tested another nearly 2,000 writing examples of ELL writers. What Turnitin found was that in documents meeting the 300-word count requirement, ELL writers received a 0.014 false positive rate, and native English writers received a 0.013 false positive rate. This means that there is no statistically significant bias against non-native English speakers. For criticisms of the accuracy of the AI detector, they cite this study referred to earlier in the video, where Turnitin is among the most accurate of the AI detectors tested. Turnitin respond to criticisms of the trustworthiness of the AI detector by saying that they are trusted by educators globally and that Turnitin's AI writing detection capabilities have been enabled by 98% of our customers. It has also been independently shown to have high effectiveness in correctly identifying AI-generated content when compared to other commercially available detectors. If you're convinced by Turnitin's response to criticism of the AI detector, fantastic. If you're not convinced, you'll be glad to hear that the Turnitin AI detector seems to be very easy to turn off. Admins have the option to enable or disable the AI writing feature from their admin settings page. Disabling the feature will remove the AI writing indicator and report from the similarity report and it won't be visible to instructors and admins until they enable it again. I hope this video has helped you gain a stronger understanding of the Turnitin AI detector, how it works, some criticisms of the detector, how Turnitin has responded to these, to help you make your own mind up about the Turnitin AI detector and its value to helping educators judge the authenticity of students' work. Thank you for your time and attention.